Lesson 8-11, page 284 of the Math Journal. Here we're learning about doing different surveys, and we have to do a class survey. For this section, I want you to answer the questions yourself, as if you were asking yourself these questions or someone has presented you with a survey. A survey is important because we will continue to practice percents of a number or fractions of a number. For example, 1 in 10 people in our classroom prefer oranges to apples. Our classroom has 20 people. So what would be 1 in 10? 1 in 10 would be 2 people, because for every 10 we have a person, and we have 20 in our classroom, so that makes it 2 people. Go ahead and answer these questions in the survey. For question 5, it's asking to pick one of the questions above and tell why someone you don't know might be interested in your answer to the questions you picked. I would probably choose number 2. I think it's interesting to know what language you speak at home. Do you speak English, Spanish, or other? And the other, you write the language. In class, we have students that speak Italian at home, others speak Spanish, and some even speak English. For questions 6 to 8, we're given an example of how percents of a number or fractions of a number are used in our daily lives. Number 6, 15% of the 20 students in Miss Swasson's class were left-handed. How many students were left-handed? So we have 15%. Let me write that here, 15%, okay, of 20. The 15% of 20. The 15% can be converted to a decimal, right? And off replaced with the multiplication of 20. Equals, well, let's just write the equals down here because I don't have any space. 3. Therefore, 3 students are left-handed. In question 7, we are dealing with about 85% of the 600 students at Emerson Middle School speak English at home. Another 10% speak Spanish, and 5% speak other languages. About how many students speak each language at home? So, 85% times 600, or 0.85 times 600, right? 0.85 times 600. And then we have 10%, so 0.1 here, 0.1 times 600, and 0.05 times 600. And those will give you the answers you need. For question 8, the government reported that about 5% of 148 million workers do not have jobs. How many workers were jobless? Well, just to give you a hint, find what 10% of 148 million is. What is 10%? And then cut that in half, because we're not looking for 10%, we're looking for 5. And there you have it. Or simply 0, you can multiply 0.05 times 148 million. That's the other way to do it. Page 287, rural and urban population. The U.S. Census Bureau classifies where people live according to the following rule. Rural areas are communities having fewer than 2,500 people, and urban areas are communities having 2,500 or more people. Okay, and we've learned in class about rural and urban. Urban is cities, and rural are country folks. Okay, or country areas. According to the Census Bureau's definition, do you live in a rural or urban area? Well, I think we can safely say that we all live in an urban area. Answer that with a complete sentence, please. How do you decide? Well, simply. Do you believe that we have more than 2,500 people in Valencia? Or even in your neighborhood, in Trigal, Trigaleña, Guataparo? If you believe that, then write that as your answer, your logic. For the latter half of page 285, we have to use the student reference book, as you can see there. Let's leave this part for class. When you come back, we will do this together as we check our work. Page to page, we'll stop here and we'll check the student reference book. For page 286, we must also use the student reference book. So leave this for tomorrow. When we have our data collected, we will answer questions 6 to 10. And as for the math boxes on page 287, we will do those in class as well. I will be looking for question 1, 3, 4, and 5. We actually have a lot of assessments to do tomorrow, boxes, sorry. See you tomorrow.